So I was doing this feature for one of the wedding magazines recently, and the feature writer asked me this brilliant question. It really got me thinking, and it was, dead or alive, future or present, whose wedding would you want to have conducted or like want to conduct in the future? It took me a wee while to think about it, you know, beyond the immediate things of, say, I don't know, your parents' wedding and someone iconic like Elvis or the Beatles or something like that. It really got me thinking. But before I tell you my answer, so if I asked you the same question I was asked, but your version is, whose content would you have created at a wedding you could go to, fictional, past or present?
Well, way to put me on the spot. The first thing that comes to mind, you're right with like, you immediately think like, I'd love to go back and like see like your wedding or like
iconic.
Redo. I mean, if I could do my own, brilliant. That would be great. First thing that comes to mind is last year, the Ambani wedding.
Right.
That happened in India. I don't know if you've seen like it all over Instagram. It was obviously Indian weddings happen over several days, but they like shut down India. They got Rihanna out of hibernation to perform at this wedding.
Yeah,
if that isn't iconic enough in itself, fabulous. And then the Kardashians were there,
of course.
You got to But you got to see some of like the wedding on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or is it called Keeping Up anymore? The Kardashian, whatever
it's called these days.
The version of whatever that's called, you got to see it.
Yeah.
So, but just like everybody was there, and the amount of fame in those rooms. I mean, they came in elephants. They came in a boat inside. Like, where was the water coming from? So. And that's definitely my answer.
So the content from that would have been epic.
Unbelievable. It would have been absolutely unbelievable. The photo opportunities were non-stop. So that's my answer. But you're not getting away without telling me yours. So.
Well, of course. Well, I settled on... Well, first of all, I think weddings are very creative. Or they certainly are. Like the one you talked about there, the Indian one. But even in the UK and in Scotland here, people are getting really creative and inventive about what they can have at their weddings and such like. But I started thinking about the theatrical side of weddings, in particular, the musical side of weddings. So the two, I made up a wedding of two artists.
I didn't know that was the rules, but
I made this up. So, well, the feature writer seemed to accept it, but. So I thought of Lady Gaga, first of all.
Yep.
Who's pretty iconic, very flamboyant. Goodness knows what her dress would be like.
There wouldn't just be one.
Yeah, it'd be like hourly changes. Yeah. And one from probably a wee bit further back, but very iconic, David Bowie.
Okay.
Who, of his day, was a massive style icon right into the 80s, 90s, the 2000s and such like. I just think that would be some wedding, because the whole fusion of colour and creativity, not least actually getting on stage at their own wedding and singing a duet or something.
Yeah, that would be definitely iconic in itself. The outfits, the music. You would have to... Can you sing yourself down the aisle?
Well, you could record it.
Yeah.
I actually had I had a groom once. One of my early weddings, actually, probably back 2018. They met this couple and they said, he contacted me like outside of the conversations we were having as a couple. And he said, listen, I've got this thing that I'm doing. So what is it? And he said, I'm taking some singing lessons just now. I'm recording our favourite song, and I want it played as a complete surprise. She's walking down the aisle to the song, like the original artist song.
So it was like her cover of it?
Well, his cover of it.
Yeah.
Aye, his cover of it. That was, so there you go. I definitely think if you're David Bowie or Lady Gaga, you can do what
you
the
can do
heck
what
you
you
want.
You can absolutely do what you want. So very interesting question. I like that. How long is it? Well, going back now, how long have you been actually conducting ceremonies?
Well, 2017, I became a legal marriage officer. With a few ceremonies who I'm now with still, and but it kind of started. My journey started a wee bit before that, actually.
Yep.
So your sister, your older sister, Melissa, she got married in 2014, as you know, in her favourite place in Florida. And the year before, I don't know if you remember this, you were pretty young still at the time, but the year before that, I done this kind of jokey thing. It was like exactly a year to go to their wedding, and I said we had this kind of wee night in the house to say it's a year to go to the wedding, and I sort of took up the fake sort of celebrant role.
Yep.
And made them stand up in the living room saying, do you promise over the next 365 days of the next year to do this, and that? It was just so funny. And then fast forward, it kind of get me thinking a wee bit. You know, kind of Joey out of friends type of moment. You know, can I be ordained in any way to actually do it? But that didn't work out, as you know. But then in 2016, when Holly, my middle daughter, and your sister got married, and with Fuse, who I now work with, funnily enough, that's where the journey started. And she and Cameron opted for the hand fasting gesture. And she had this idea with the celebrant I want my dad to do that bit. So they taught me how to do the hand fasting, and I done it during the ceremony as father of the bride. And that's really when the kind of the light and the touch paper and the interest, I'm thinking, oh, right, how do you become a celebrant then? And then about 10 months later, I was made redundant for the career I was in, and I thought, I'm going to do this, which is just as well because I got to conduct your ceremony.
Yep.
Which you clearly have one up on your two sisters on.
I definitely do. So thank you very much for taking your time with that. Most special over here.
What about your day then? What do you remember the most about it?
That you were in it more than me. Everybody, you got to go in the car with me. Got to walk down the aisle, turn round, do the ceremony. Obviously, then like in all of the photos, then you get to do a speech and stand up in front of everybody, and then you got to dance still. So like, you know, all this, like all of the day, just like George's day.
And what's your point?
I don't have one actually. No, I don't.
But obviously it was an amazing day. I absolutely loved every minute of it. But have you ever thought back and thought, well, it's a strong word to use, but any regrets from the day?
Well, like I was saying earlier on, if I could have myself there and the job that I'm currently doing, then I would have. Wedding content creation wasn't really a thing. No. At that point, it was definitely something that you saw people do videos and make trends and things like that on their wedding day, but
usually done by like the bridesmaids,
and stuff, like
kind of seen as a role for them, wasn't it?
Like I gave the job to Melissa, oldest sister, to do, but we were that busy in the morning. We think we got one TikTok actually finished. I've got half finished ones. Like I'll never be able to go back and do it. And then it got me thinking after that, somebody else who's not in the wedding party must be doing this content for people, because it's all through the day. There's no way that a bridesmaid is sober enough to be able to get content that good. There's no way that someone is talented enough to be doing this. And then kind of thought from there, wait a minute, like that's something that I could actually do for people. So yeah, that's probably my biggest regret from the day, not being able to have one.
Nah, but it's not a real regret though, innit? Because it was something that you couldn't really have. Sort of thing. So do you find that when you are being a content creator for someone's day and you're there several hours, what are you thinking? I mean, how many hats have you got on? What type of brain do you have during that day?
Oh, it changes like throughout the day. So when you're getting everybody ready, like I kind of feel like an undercover bridesmaid. Like I'm like part of the squad, but like I'm not like in the squad. I just kind of feel like I'm like hanging about everyone. But there's certain moments that you're like, oh, I know how I felt when like my sisters were getting married, and you know, you feel like, oh, I'm here and I'm being part of someone's like core memory, and you know that by doing something or suggesting something, you're helping create a memory for other people. So you're a sister, you're a mum, you're a parent, you're then going into like the photographs and being like, oh, wait a minute, pose this way, it makes you look better, and fixing your hair and touching up people's makeup and running about the hotel, handed babies sometimes. I'm a babysitter half the time as well. Like I'm happy to do everything. It changes throughout the day depending on like who you're with, and trying to think, is there anything that I could do to better impact this day, to use the knowledge that I know, what can I do to help this go smooth? So it's crazy. You're doing absolutely everything.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
And you've kind of got I've seen with a lot of your posts, you've kind of got a bit of an iconic, bit of a trademark of the bath picture.
Oh yeah, love a
bit
bath.
Of content in the bath.
Love a bath. That honeymoon suite hates to see me coming. Couples, they're more willing to do it than what you think people are. The grooms usually just look at me like, you are crazy. And I'm aware of that, but get in the bath because it's funny and it makes for a great photos.
Hey guys, it's Jill here from Bulletproof Studios. Sorry to interrupt the episode, but this one will be quick. We are super proud to be sponsoring I'll Do the Talking's very first podcast episode. It's been fantastic having George and Caitlin in the studio recording this amazing podcast, which really offers great advice and honest truth into what you can expect when planning your wedding and the wedding industry in general. So they record their podcast right here at Bulletproof Studios in Airdrie, where we help them and other clients with everything from podcast recording, content creation, editing and everything in between. So if you've been thinking of starting a podcast or you need support with content creation, then feel free to get in touch either through our website or our Instagram at Bulletproof Studios. Okay, that's enough of that. Now let's get back into the episode.
What about, do you know what I've not seen? I haven't seen a male content creator yet.
No.
Hey, apart from me, I do consider some of the content I put together okay.
Yeah, no,
but
that
I mean
you
in
like
the sense
to think of yourself as the
I'm just capturing
OG.
some candid stuff like before and during and after the wedding ceremony part, you know what I mean? But I've not seen do you think that's something that's like people are purposely not considering it? Like a male isn't considering it for any particular reason?
I don't know of any particular reason, because there's a lot of male photographers out there, so it doesn't mean to say
so it's not
that,
like a privacy thing.
No,
you know how like
there definitely is points of the day that I do find
just get
between
out the
working
room,
with
sort of
like
thing. I'm
males
sure male
and
photographers
females.
get that though as well, don't they?
Yeah,
step
I
away.
find it different though when I work with males to females of
Right.
like how much I'm in the room, depending on if it's a male or female photographer.
Aye. I suppose there is a privacy. There will be a privacy thing.
But
yeah,
that is
for
really
sure.
interesting that there isn't really.
Do you remember the first time we worked together on
Yeah.
the same wedding?
Yes. It was Courtney and Sean at the Bowl Fields.
It was, yeah.
And it was a lovely sunny day. It was like a really crisp, kind of like cold morning.
Yeah.
Like we just ducked out from the rain as well.
That's right, because I remember you got out for the confetti show
Yes.
and maybe trickled a wee bit after that, but they got all the main stuff
Yeah,
done.
but no, it was a fantastic day. It's interesting that I don't know if you get this now as well, but like when you from meeting suppliers when they see us together, like at those weddings, and go, oh wait a minute, your father and daughter. When we're together, like people instantly kind of like recognise that. I've got at loads of weddings, people going, oh, I worked with your dad last week, and
yeah.
you know, like, oh wait a minute, you're George's daughter, and I'm sure you probably get it back.
Yeah,
the other
100%.
way.
Yeah, I would get. I was with Caitlin last month, or they'll also say, your daughter's a content creator, isn't she?
Yeah.
They kind of quote it because they kind of know it and they want to chat about it.
Yeah.
But suppliers have been really great. I think they've been it's a kind of fun me story, I guess, and they often quote to me, she's just like you. She's always in about the action.
Yeah, and I usually get then on the other way. Your dad loves a wee clip. He loves a TikTok. He loves an Instagram reel, doesn't he? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't go far from the tree that both these are phone in hand, wedding talk non-stop,
exactly,
all the time.
Which is something I think at home, probably the rest of the family go, oh God, do they go again?
Yeah, don't think. Yeah, every time I phone, I go, oh, is Dad there actually to talk to? No offence, Mum, not that I don't want to talk to you, but I mean, this is where it turned into our kind of weekly weekend calls after every wedding.
Yeah. The debrief on the way home.
Yes.
Yeah, I love them.
Okay, who were you working with?
Yeah.
What happened? Anything really cool, interesting?
Yeah.
Was any trends happening? Who was there?
Yeah.
Like literally every weekend, it's like, okay, what is the breakdown?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure the full family is sick of every time we get together. It's like, what more could you possibly talk about?
But that's the great thing about weddings, though, because you genuinely, and I say this to couples with venues that they've booked, and they say, oh, I see you're there a lot, whatever that is.
Yep.
And I say, yeah, absolutely. But the great thing is it feels different every time. And I genuinely mean that because for a start, people have got their different spin on decor, and different kind of signage and all the stuff that goes with weddings. But the most important part is the couple's different. So the story's different. The family setup's often different. The amount of people at the guests is different. So although I'm going into familiar ground, you're getting that just now as well. It does feel very different.
It is really interesting though that each time you do go, how different it can look from. It feels like even though it's the same venue, it really represents each couple from what they've decided to do, from their table layout to how they're having everything. It doesn't feel like, oh, I was just here for someone else's wedding. You do get that feeling of, as if like this venue was made for this couple.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of how you feel whenever you get into there. I guess seeing all of that sort of stuff week in, week out, conversating with everybody is kind of why we think we've got the authority to be able to share such hints and tips and be able to say, yeah, we are experts, and that's kind of why we want to share it, because people don't know what they're doing. Hopefully you're only planning a wedding for once.
Yeah.
Twice, maybe. But hopefully the one time. So you need to rely on people who do it week in, week out.
Yeah.
To give you honest advice to make it better.
Yeah. And you'll see stuff in a longer part of the day than I see it, of course. And that's what I love about the kind of the wee chats we have in the car, because I'm always feel I'm learning something, which then when I'm having my couples meetings, either a booking call or it might be a planning call for their ceremony itself, then I find myself kind of recalling things that we've had chats about. And they then say, oh, I never thought of that idea. I would have never seen that otherwise.
Yeah.
Or heard about it otherwise, other than watching some clips on Insta or TikTok.
I had a meeting with someone a couple of weeks ago, and they messaged me on Facebook to say, oh, my celebrants asked me for this to what I have to say during my ceremony. Help me.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, right, well, this is what I've seen time. Like, let's talk about it. Let's go over it. And they're coming to me for advice to go, okay, you surely know what people actually say. Is this funny? Is this not funny? Will this go down very well?
Yeah.
To give them advice and kind of think of, okay, how many times have I heard you practicing ceremonies?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
Or your mum usually hears everyone, actually. Yep. she's my best barometer of my pauses or pronunciation of something. Yes. She's very quick to give constructive feedback.
Yes, tell you that you're wrong isn't too far away.
Absolutely. But what about now? You are like a late millennial, aren't you?
No. How dare you? I am Gen Z. Thank you very much.
Oh, really?
Yes, if you want to be technical and put me in the other way,
Right.
I'll only accept Zillennial, but in no
Is that
way.
all right? Is that an acceptable term as Zillennial?
No,
Okay.
in absolutely no way put me in the millennial category.
Well, I feel the same as I am definitely not a boomer.
No, that's
I'll
embarrassing.
take Gen X any day of the week.
Yeah, being a boomer is embarrassing. So I couldn't take that on for you if you were.
No,
we couldn't be affiliated with each other.
My date of birth is quite clear. I'm definitely a Gen X. Sorry.
Well,
I know. I just fast forwarded a generation or two there.
Yeah.
Does that matter though?
Like
in what we do? Do you get back to the hats and stuff like that? Are you thinking that way? Especially with the kind of the next generation coming up.
I mean, definitely the mums and dads have no idea what I'm doing. Why is that lassie there with her phone out? Like that's
yeah.
That is
they see that every day at home.
They're like, why is she here? They don't really understand what it is. It does take it into consideration. A lot of my couples are, yes, like Gen Z and millennial. They are using their phone. We absorb content in different ways.
Yep.
So that is primarily the people that I'm dealing with, but I also have had lots of older couples that just want, that's how they want to be able to have everything from their day. They want it to be really relaxed, and that really suits them. That is interesting how you say that though, because you don't come, your socials in particular don't come across as that. You do look at some pages and think, who is behind that? I like to think though that I have taught you some of your ways, and hence why you have a cooler page than...
Is it like a parental give back, where I gave you life, so you're giving me some sort of educational back?
Yes, I could not let you go out on the internet like that and embarrass yourself. So.
What about the people who, I don't know, 30 or something like that, where they're, or someone, the worst ever is when you see someone who's suddenly, they've just found CapCut for the first time ever in their life, and then they're using every possible transition, and worse, they leave the little CapCut bit that's been created on the end. Drives me absolutely insane.
Yes, I saw a video literally like last week of that, and it was basically saying, now that I have turned 30, all my videos are now going to be like this. And it was like love heart through like outside the guy's head, and then suddenly his head was floating around the screen, and it's just like, it's as if like a gran has just like found Candy Crush.
Well, listen, fair play. If somebody's wanting to give it a go, I'm sure they'll perfect it over the years. What do you think the average age of couples getting married is? What do you think you see around?
25 to like 32. Like that's more what I see.
Well, the last probably last 10 years actually in Scotland, the average age has been 33 for a female, 35 for a male.
Really?
And if you look back, like if you went back to, when me and Mum got married in 1988, we were 20, because that's what you done in 1988. It was the only way you could live with somebody, like without it being like shunned upon and out of wedlock.
Yeah,
was actually you got married to them. Best thing that the listeners are going to hear and see on this podcast series is, I think you said it earlier, I think we've earned a bit of authority. We know about weddings from the different parts of the day, and what's going to be even better is that we're going to have some amazing guests on the podcast from, I'm thinking definitely photographers, videographers. What else would you say we'll get on?
Get some other content creators.
Celebrants as well.
Some celebrants as well. Even, if some couples wanted to come on, they're more than welcome.
I think we definitely must get some real life couples on as well, because they are the best. They're going to be saying, this is my journey. I sweated off it over this, and my goodness, I wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
Or I put so much effort and sometimes too much money into this, and nobody even noticed.
Exactly. So we can chat about all of these things, look at, what is trending right now, what are the things that you waste money on that aren't really needed, or what should you invest more in that's actually really helpful. and really needed on a wedding day, and actually, help people, coach them through it, because they need someone to give them that advice. So that's what we're going to do.
Brilliant. So join us on this journey as we take you through all the hints, tips, and everything that goes with the wonderful wedding industry. I've been George.
And I've been Caitlin.
We'll see you in the next episode.